I've been talking about all the stuff you wanted to hear for years. Now I'm gonna talk about what you don't want to hear. They don't want to hear that good shit. Where my niggas at? Take care of their kids. Learn their lesson from their first bid. Who getting money? Who ain't no motherfucking dummy? Who ain't gon' let these white folks leave them bumming? They like, nah, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. That's fuckboy shit. That fuckboy shit. All my niggas getting money. Who you with? All my niggas with them choppers try to hit. It's been a long time since a nigga been locked up, and I ain't going back. I put that on my dick and nuts. Don't get it twisted. I'm always gonna be ratchet. I always got my whistle. I'm never out.
On Anchor, on Google Podcasts. What up, y'all? What up?
What else? He was talking. I didn't want to interrupt him, but what up? You stumbled upon a Real Ninja podcast where we critique underground music, speak about interesting topics, and talk about that fuck shit.
Of course.
And guess what? It's me, Prayers. This Uncanny. What up, Uncanny?
What up, man? Uncanny Midwest Connection.
Introduce you to this week.
It's only been 3 weeks. Uncanny Midwest Connection. If you ain't connected, you ain't respected, man. And you already know how we get down on every Wednesday. We have a great time. And since you see us on Cam 1, you know on Cam 2, we got the special, super special guest, man. Super special guest. Introduce yourself.
Man, it's Springfield.
Oh, man.
Now you can hear me, man. It's 250. Sam Johnson, Samuel Johnson. A couple different ways how people identify me, but of those three. What's up with y'all?
What up? Glad to have you on. I just like to say, this is like my big brother. Just let y'all know. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to have him on.
Well, he ain't just your big brother. He's one of the big brothers in the hip hop game in the 217. Man, I need y'all to speak on that because you was putting on shows since I was a young buck. You was bringing big artists. You was introducing artists to the market. So I know you as 250 more than promoter. I remember the Keep It 200 movement. That was a movement. That wasn't just a website or a slogan. People was really behind that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So talk to me about your place in Springfield hip hop lore.
Man, well, really, from a hip hop perspective, one thing I always said, because I dabbled in it as far as I've done a little music and put a few things out, but I always respected it from the folks that, like, from when I came up, and even like yourself, like, man, ones who was artists who really did it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I seen the phase where, like, if you had the money or whatnot, your money can put you in position to rap. You know what I'm saying? You might not have been that good. But your money, being able to buy the clothes, being able to have an entourage behind you, put you in a perspective past the person who was actually an artist. Who really knew how to wordplay, who really knew how to spit, and didn't need to write nothing down to spit. You know what I'm saying? So I respected the craft to the degree of the artists who really, really like did it for real. For myself, I kind of looked at it from having my hands in it of opportunity. I tried to give opportunity to as many artists as possible from my hometown, as well as any artists that I dealt with their actual career. I looked at it more as opportunity, but my place in it, I would say from a promoter standpoint of opportunity or whatnot, artist wise, I look at it like I can spit with the best of them, but I know my limits. You know what I'm saying? Right. I know, we talk about freestyle and stuff. That ain't all my type of thing, but if we need to really think about something, put something down, I'm going to always be able to be, in there with whoever is great because I got something to say. And my speak matches, my character. So I think that's what gives me opportunity there. But I never try to go above the degree that I'll never disrespect any artist. I don't care if you made it or not. People who done it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I respect that because it's a craft, it's an art.
I know you brought a lot of acts here before, you know what I mean? I'm going to say I might have performed, and I was trying to get on every, I was about to say card, it was a battle for me, but you know what I mean? I tried to get on every show you put on. You know, you had Buckhead, you had Dro here.
That's what I'm saying. Big shows.
Yeah, big shows. You know what I mean? Shoot,
Right.
and big artists at the time. You know, so shit, I appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Many aspects.
And as a promoter who followed, and not necessarily in the footsteps, but in the city, you definitely opened doors and brought light to there being a market for hip hop in the city.
Right.
And for being, you know what I mean, for helping build this scene. Because I can say, for a time we coexisted where my scene was a little different than your scene, or the artists you were dealing with were a little different than the artists that I was dealing with. But it was all thriving at the same time. You know what I mean? There wasn't animus, there wasn't any hate or anything like that. It was like, man, we really both have a scene, and it's percolating. And it's people coming to it and supporting the events and showing love. And it was a good time, man.
Yeah, you know so where I got that from, you know, I tell this story every now and then, but with Fresh. Fresh, when I was coming up, Fresh was the person that I seen.
Be Fresh, by the way.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure. He was the one who I seen who was putting like the concerts together and the clubs and the music and trying to put the city on. So when I left and was like in Memphis, and I basically was able to enter myself into the music industry there, you know, in a very large way that I never expected or even knew was going to happen. When I had the opportunity to be able to come back to the crib, I mean, my first party that I did, the first event I did, was a skating party. I think we had. You remember we had that skating party out of the spot, and it was in representation of Fresh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I gave homage and honor to who I learned from, you know, from the beginning. So I just try to pick up where I seen one of the legends, you know, and try to give us opportunity here. And you know, as I got older, I seen people like yourself and what y'all were doing with the music and things like that, you know. So we just keep it going, and some point in time, man, they'll catch on. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And open the doors. Hopefully, some of the young ones that come from behind don't have to go through the fights that we already went through.
Speaking of the fights, what would you say was the hardest thing in being a promoter, especially one of the earliest promoters from the area to kind of bring big artists? What was the biggest hurdle you had to jump to kind of get that, to open those doors really, to get clubs to mess with you, to be able to put your promotions at, you know, different businesses? What was the biggest hurdle you felt you had to jump in the city?
Man, honestly, in the beginning, I didn't really have no hurdles, to be fair. Simply because I had, I say I had more respect from every perspective, so I really didn't have hurdles in the beginning.
Okay.
The hurdles became after I started getting the hype of what I was doing and everything else. Then the hurdles came into play where, you know, with the politics of stuff, of trying to now bring, I guess we say, our crowd, our culture, our styles to different type of buildings, locations, and things like that, and not really wanting to be accepted. You see what I'm saying? So then that's where the hurdles came in at from there.
Started off with no hurdles because you a nigga from the hood, but then got some hurdles because you a nigga from the hood.
So once you kind of expanded past what we would say are the hood bars or you know, smaller venues, once you started trying to book those big, that's when you started noticing the hurdles.
That's where the hurdles came in. And, you know, I understood what some of the older folks would say when they be like, man, them folks, you know, they keep us right over there. As long as you stay over there where Max area is or whatever, they cool. Once you start trying to go outside of that, that's when you gonna start seeing the other hands. And that's when I literally was seeing the other hands, you know. It's like they wanted the money, because our culture bring a different style of money.
Absolutely.
Like you go to a downtown bar, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, they gonna sell beer like this, right?
Yeah.
And they gonna have drinks as well, but they gonna sell beer. But usually to like about 12, by the time that type of crowd start going in. Well, you know, we going to like 3 a.m.
We don't come out to it.
We ain't coming out to one.
You know, close don't even get out the wash till midnight. Kids don't be sleep. You know what I mean? Kids got to go to bed before we come out because we ain't paying the babysitter is what I'm saying.
Right. And we come out in droves, you know what I'm saying? So within that time frame, you actually make more money off us.
And what we're buying.
Right.
We're buying Hennessy, we're buying Ciroc, we're buying Belvedere, we're trying to be top shot.
7 shots.
Yeah, man.
So
me and my homie both getting $8 shots. You know what I mean?
And we bottle buyers. You see what I'm saying? So you you getting the beer, you getting the liquor shots, you getting the bottles. I mean, when you calculate that type of money up, because I done seen that type of money. That money is a whole other type of money that goes on. You know what I'm saying? So
different streams. Shoot, you might. I mean, just the crowd itself gonna bring more people.
Yes, sir.
Shoot, if you got a nice DJ, that's where the ladies going to dance, and that's where the niggas going.
Yeah, because they're gonna follow the ladies every single time. If there's ladies there, the dude show up. That's kind of
Paul Wilby. What up, bro?
Shouts out to everybody on the live, man. Everybody that tunes in every week, man. We're gonna get deep, man.
We got followers. We got people watching this thing. It's only 6, but it's been 6, 5, 7, 10, 12, 5.
That's because we got a dope guest this week, man. Our guest, this guest right here might have the most notoriety out of any guest we've had because this guest is a former Springfield mayoral candidate.
Yes. Before we get into that, I wanted to ask, like, as he was a club owner, you know what I mean? What was the best part of the club, owning the club, and what's the worst part, Because everybody want to own a club. I ain't never had dream aspects to own a club, social place, something like that, but it's a lucrative thing. A lot of people try to start one. I was watching you put this dumping money into a club, you know what I mean? So, what was the ups? What was the downs?
Man, you wanna know what the ups to it was? The opportunity. The opportunity I seen to be able to connect with our people in a way of to me it wasn't just about a party or an event or about you coming and drinking or paying to get in this and the third. It was about having access to thousands of people at one time. What message can I give them? How can we, come together to change some stuff? Like that's always been my MO on everything I've done. So I seen it where that was the biggest part to it, where like it was the love that was in the club. You know what I'm saying? And the respect of it being where, when we started that off, we didn't have adequate security or help from the Springfield police at the time. You know what I'm saying? The people was securing that. It was different, like, and we didn't have no fights, we didn't have no problem. We had some in the past, but I'm saying,
that's everywhere.
Yeah, but for the most part, in a part where it's like we didn't have full security, we literally had 1,000 attendants. When you came out the club, you didn't have police out in the parking lot patrolling, you know what I'm saying? Like how you would see at the other spots. And at that moment, right, but at that moment, we didn't have no fights, no problems. Everybody seemed kind of like, how things was going on. And the behaviors changed. Even while people was under the influence of drinking, smoking, and this and the third. Like, they really, literally respected. So, the biggest thing I take from that is that I got an opportunity to have so much love and time and talk and meet and congregate with so many different people from all type of different cities and states that I still keep in connect with, right now. Because it's still about, okay, what can we do? We got all these people. What can we do with it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. What can we do with it?
And the crazy part is, and I'm gonna say this as Black Americans, we're the 8th richest population on the planet. So, what can we do? What can we do with that power? Can we harness that power to do what? You know what I mean?
And I couldn't get to that.
You ain't never gonna harness that power.
Why though? Even in small segments, why not though?
Right.
Even if you can only get a quarter of it or an eighth of it.
It's like,
you know what I mean? Even if you get an eighth of the 8th richest population on the planet, that makes you the 16th richest population on the planet.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Why can't we though?
Because just like we was talking.
But I watch pastors become billionaires. Kenneth Copeland talked his way to $1 billion.
Motherfuckers giving you money for nothing, for hope. you buy hope. You know what I mean? You buying hope. And my you know what I mean? Shoot, that's the preacher stuff. You know what I mean? Shoot, I don't know. What your views on religion is different from your daddy's, you know what I mean, for sure.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So, but I'm saying, damn, I forgot where I was going with that. But,
all right, man, talk to me about the naked picture, man.
One thing, okay, I'm gonna touch on that. Let me,
cause that's kind of religious. That was a Bible, right?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's kind of religious.
Yeah, so just to answer the second part of your question about the club thing, like what was the worst parts? The worst parts was like towards the end of where the battle was, you know what I'm saying, against my own people. That was against me on the back end, and the city itself, you know what I'm saying, city officials and club owners and things like that, like was literally against me. Just because I feel like we had something rocking. You know, we had something rocking that never was going on in the city. You see what I'm saying? And man, it became a fight of like 1 against, then it felt like 1,000. Literally, you know what I'm saying? So that was the worst part. It was like you got the opportunity, like what can we do? And then you got where you being torn down at the same time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like in between, there is no in between because man, you fighting a battle that's just is like it's a heavy battle. You know what I'm saying? And it literally, it almost literally took me out my life. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm one of them folks where I'm like, man, I'm not giving up.
No, you know so you went hard all the way in there. Yeah. I remember I was going to say this in like in the pre-show. We was talking about how getting together. You know what I mean? And I can't remember exactly what we was talking about. Just but without I don't remember what the fuck we were talking about. See, marijuana.
It's good too. That's a good thing, man. And you know the podcast punch pop. I mean, presidential podcast punch. We're gonna go ahead and get it trademarked. We're gonna get it bottled. Because when I get to going off the potty punch,
See, I stay on track with the fuck shit. I'm trying to not interject.
We're not there yet. We're gonna get there.
Yeah. I'm trying to stay in tune.
All right, so talk to us about Keep It 200, man, for real, because that was like really a big thing around the city. Talk to me about that.
You know, Ken, on the Keep It 200, we actually getting ready to come back out with we're coming out with phase 3.
Okay.
So we've been this time, you know, we had to go back to the laboratory because what happened was, man, it took off so fast.
It did.
That we couldn't control it.
Okay.
And instead of losing control into it, we did lose control. Let me put it like that first off. But we lost control in a way where we was like, man, we got this bag back because, man, people was really giving us the props of like as if we was a Fortune 500 company, so they was expecting us to deliver like that.
Right.
And we couldn't deliver like that because it was being a program.
You know, some people behind.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And we had apps, you know, we had apps and stuff like that. But, you know, we was going through third party, we was still learning and development programming, all these different things. And you know how our people is. Like, if they support you and they want to get something from you or whatever, man, they want it like, it's like Walmart. So you don't want to burn them bridges of relationships. So what we did was we dialed back. And we was like, okay, we know what we can do. That was basically experience, you know what I'm saying? Beta test. So we know what we can do. So we went back in the laboratory and basically we've been programming it. We're gonna come with the phase 3. And the phase 3 is really what we're gonna allow us basically to kind of have like our own social media.
Okay.
And connect on it and people have access to like a storefront where they can, you know what I'm saying, sell stuff. And we can, you know what I'm saying, try to harness, you know, money together and all those different things. And have our own security. Yeah, the power, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. So that's what that phase 3 is coming back, Android and iCloud, iPhone, all that stuff.
Yeah. That's dope, man. See, that's what I'm saying. Entrepreneurial spirit. So you've been an entrepreneur forever.
My whole life.
You know what I mean? Prayer said he used to get a lot of money with you. You know, like a lot of money. So so the entrepreneurial thing has been going on a long time. As a long time entrepreneur, what is one quality you can say has helped you through all of this, through whatever the entrepreneurial endeavor? What is one quality about yourself that has helped you be a good entrepreneur?
I pay him the big bucks. You got the question. I got the question. Go ahead.
Oh man, what I call it insurance. And what I mean by that is anybody know me, you know what I'm saying? I've never done bad business.
Right.
And if something is bad on my behalf, or not saying it's but if it's something that has come to me, product or service or whatever, it's always insurance on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if it ain't good, if something ain't right, if I sit with somebody straight, we're gonna get it straight.
Right.
So that built a respect with people to the degree like I was never known as, you know what I'm saying, a shiesty person or nothing like that. And it was consistent with me.
That's why everything you did took off. I feel.
Yeah, I was saying that too. Like, I built on trust, honor, loyalty, and respect.
Right.
And
with the niggas though, that's hard. With the niggas, that's hard.
I put my time into it. You know, it wasn't easy. Like, it was something I wanted to do, and it was something that was kind of like organically, I guess, me born with. Because even with, you know, with me coming from the background of I'm from the hood as far as where we live and stay at, but I won't say that I came up exactly the same as with a lot of hood people who came up with like one single parent in the house, might have been birthed or born around, you know what I'm saying, like drugs and guns and gang banging, whatever. Like, that was around me, but the household perspective wasn't that.
It was very religious because I mean, your pastor.
Right, very, very religious. So, you know,
his brother's my best friend. So I used to say, like I like to say is that although y'all didn't grow up like shit, like cereal sandwich, sitting on the floor, sleeping on the pallet type shit, you know what I mean? Y'all still was right there. Y'all was dealing with it. Your dad pastor, so you saw it.
Saw it every day. Praying for these people in.
Busy Bee, daycare been open since I've been born. You know what I mean? So you been in the hood, and even though you in the hood, you still in the hood, even though it was a different slice of pie. You know?
Yeah, definitely. And that I get that from my dad. I remember hearing my dad when I was little. My mom wanted to move out west at times. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And my dad just had this thing of like, man, he never was gonna leave outside the hood, outside the east side. Like, you know, he's like, man, I'm gonna build here, I'm gonna die here, I'm gonna help here. Yeah, that's just what it was. Yeah. So I grew to the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Where like, man, like right here where we at is where we're gonna build out of. And nothing wrong going to another well, but we gonna come from up out of here. All day. However we do it, you know. Mm-hmm. So
it's hard to get no respect from niggas, man. I'm out here giving out free classes to the kids. Can't even get y'all to come out here, man.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man, that like I spent time into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about imagine about the amount of conversation that you have with somebody, and you take the time to hear somebody out for literally 30, 40, 60, you know what I'm saying, an hour. Talking to them.
We didn't have those conversations.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I hear everybody out. If somebody reach out to me, inbox me, whatever, I get back to everybody.
You know, the only person I ever talked to on the phone over an hour, I would say. Yeah. I might not have had a female I talk to the phone.
Fam, I see you once a week for about 2 hours, and I think most of our phone conversations are under 5 minutes. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. And like we do analytics reports and everything in like 7 minutes tops. Like,
okay.
All right, man.
I was just telling somebody today, man. They was like, "Are you cool? That's my boy." He said, "Oh, y'all kick it all the time." I said, "Actually, we don't." I see our candy mouth. 4 hours a week. And all of them on Wednesday. We'll give a couple text messages. I'm checking his Facebook page.
It's just a chemistry thing, man. We
already, there's nothing to catch up on. We already know it. What we doing this week? All right, Sam on. Okay. Right. I'll see you at the spot.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Shit, about being married though. You know what I mean? Running for mayor, being mayor, running for mayor.
So wait though, because you put now keep it 200. It was a wildfire. So that puts you kind of in a position to where everybody knew you.
Right.
Not that they didn't know you before, but that definitely, you can say, broadened it on a bigger scale regionally. Because it became like a regional
face.
Like it was, it was a regional.
The niggas thought your little brother was too big. He used to ride with it.
You didn't tell me that part.
I'll say he didn't get a bitch off of 250.
You gonna go with it, huh?
That's fine.
I'll go with it. Yeah.
No, that kind of gave you the platform for real, the base of everyday warrior run. So really talk to us about the grind of that. You gotta get petitions, you gotta sign some paperwork, like there's way more to it than just being like, oh, I'm gonna run for mayor.
Right.
So talk to us, because a lot of people, especially from our culture, have no idea how to even get on the ballot.
Man, so that was the first question I had to figure out on my own, because I was asking a lot of the elders, like, man, how do you run for mayor? How do you do this? How do you do that? Nobody could tell me to be for real. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, okay. So I had to go read the statute. This is where I first got my first introduction to reading law, statutes, etc. You see what I'm saying? Because I had to figure that piece out. Mm-hmm. Once I figured that out, I'm like, I can't remember exactly how the signature was, but I remember that the amount of signatures that was needed, I was like, I know this many people, that's easy to do, you know what I'm saying? So,
sanitization break.
Standing break.
Oh, okay. This contribute by who?
Presidential fitness for the sanitization break. Pull up for free classes. Pull up for jujitsu. And he does it all. Right here, 4179 West Jefferson.
Yeah, go ahead.
My fault. Coughing up the refill.
We'll do some plugs.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Okay, so, so we was, so basically after getting the petitions and everything together and getting on the ballot, the fun and kind of like the frustration in it was once I started going on, like, I guess we call it like the tour runs, right. Where we're going to talk to different organizations. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a difference in between when you got organizations, groups with interests, you know what I'm saying, unions and stuff like that. That's a whole nother entity of people compared to when you want to talk to a person at their door or want to talk to a regular person.
These people want something.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Like, and then, but see, when you go sit and talk to them, there was like certain, what we call them, like where they had to invite all the candidates. So this was the interesting part. Places that I didn't even know was in Springfield.
You had to pull up to
groups that I never even knew how to play.
You had to pull up to.
I had to pull up to, and they had to invite me. Yeah, because you had to invite everybody. That's how I got invited. So now I'm going.
Because they didn't plan on inviting me.
Oh hell no! You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't the same as when you're running for alderman or running for not taking away from none of the aldermen, but like some of the other the other lower positions. This you don't get invited to the same things the same way. You know what I'm saying? So the mayors get invited or the candidates get invited to stuff that is like your big interest groups, and you're at community events, neighborhood associations and stuff
because
are in areas that you
every alderman, and
these are blocks of votes who got power to determine who can win, who cannot. So you have to satisfy these type of blocks of areas. So as I'm in these type of meetings, man, I'm hearing the topics and subject lines of what they talking about, of past stuff, of saying when so and so was married this time, he didn't do this or she didn't do that, whatever else. I'm sitting up here like, what the hell? I'm like, man, what y'all got going on out here? Because there ain't no conversation like this over here where I'm from. I'm like, you know,
we're not even thinking about this.
Man, I'm talking about, so you start seeing how the money is being moved. You start seeing how the groups who got power of blocks that are really the players in the political game. You gotta look at it like church, bro.
Facts.
You got the church, you got the sanctuary.
Yeah.
You got your different groups that sit on different spots.
Oh yeah.
So as you got them different groups with different spots, we people who we ain't really part of groups, so we just a scatter. But the different groups are the people who run the jurisdictions in different ways. That the people who are just the loose people, like have no clue of what's going on. So think about they're playing political while we living with them. They don't know what's going on.
You already stepped behind. You walked in there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So when I'm hearing the conversation, I can engage in them and I'm talking about them. Man, the thing that was blowing me the most was that it was conversations that had nothing to do. It was nowhere close to like
what
our area, like what we was going through and whatever. Man, when I say it's a whole nother world, bro, I'm talking about a whole nother world, different type of money being talked about, power groups that's connected to like CWLP property that helps them get certain type of.
What people don't understand is Springfield, Illinois is home of the most millionaires per capita in Illinois. That includes the Chicago region. So for our 111,000 reported, we have the most millionaires.
Wow,
you know what I mean?
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He full of
Power plays. We make power plays, man. So you kept saying power plays like it's not just political. It's literal money.
Now, what I will tell you about that, now that you said that, is that I did notice opening the door of learning of the different millionaire folks who live or either got property here in Springfield, but you never know that they here. So that makes sense according to what you're saying because there was more millionaires that I didn't even. I'm like, okay, hold on. They last. I'm trying to find their family if they from here, but they ain't even from here.
Yeah, and they just have, own so much shit here. They have a business address here, or you know what I mean, and it matters. That matters when you're dealing with millions of dollars and you're dealing with high level politics, because the mayor of Springfield has a different level than the mayor of, and I don't mean to downgrade any city, but the Decatur or Jacksonville or Quincy, and I'm saying those because they're all 217 area codes, you know what I mean? Champaign, because you're the mayor of the capital city of Springfield. They come and lawmake here.
Yeah.
So there's a different representation. There's a different eyeball set. There's a different, you know what I mean? If things happen here, and I hate to, we make national news.
Yeah. Look, Springfield is a lovely place to stay at. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
I have no arguments. It's decent.
We ain't got prostitutes going crazy like we ain't got a whole street, bro. I don't know where they at.
Right.
I've been here all my life. Where the prostitutes stroll at? I need to know. I want to go. I need to see who over here. You know everybody in the town. Let's go see who on the prostitute roll. We ain't got one. Shoot. I don't think drugs is that bad in town. You know what I mean? Shoot. I mean, what's bad? What's bad, bro? You know what I mean? I don't see. We ain't got we got cracking issues like everywhere else. I think they got cribs though. You know what I mean? That's all right. We just help for them. You know what I mean? So, Springfield is a decent place to stay at. I understand why we got a lot of millionaires.
We do got a lot of homeless people though.
Right.
We have a very high homeless population.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Do it? I'm just saying.
Compared to
what do they sleep at? I'm talking.
Where they sleep at.
Is that their home? Do your thing real quick, man.
Oh man, shouts out to everybody on the live, man. We do appreciate you tuning in weekly. Again, we do live on the hearts, but we do like bread too. We have a new sponsor link You can go to our Anchor. You know what I mean? A Real Ninjas Podcast on Anchor, man. You can find us. You can sponsor us monthly. We got these awesome plans. Send us $1 a month. Why not?
AD Valentino, he said Springfield is not a decent place at all. Hey, look.
That's what I'm saying. Different structure, different folks.
It is. You know what I mean? You gotta make the best of Springfield though. You gotta know how to. Are you from here? That's the question. I want to know if you're from here. Oh, okay. All right. He from here then. You know what I mean? So just know you just gotta make the best of Springfield. That's all it is, man.
It's not. It's not terrible. I've been a lot of places. Seriously, I've been to a lot. It isn't the worst place I've
white bitches around. No, they love niggas. Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'm just talking to you. I'm about to fuck shit. What else, man? You got a lot of accolades. I want to know, like, when running for mayor, did you like have a nemesis? You ain't gotta say his name or nothing like that. Who you like, man? Fuck that motherfucker. Like
every time you went,
like he is on my ass. What the fuck? Fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Or was it that type of? Or did they not even they just didn't even pay attention to you? They didn't think you was the. Cause me personally, I think you could have won. If I don't know how, I don't know. Like this is the only time I ever voted was for you. I'll tell you that right now. I ain't vote for Obama. I ain't vote for nobody else. I voted for my friend. You know what I mean? So when
fucking the snacks up. Best podcast snack every week. We got the best podcast snacks.
Damn, I'm high. You never forget what
Was it ever somebody who?
Yeah, we can go with that. I was going to something there, but yeah, sure. Somebody just was.
Who is the debate nemesis?
Yeah, who was your nemesis in the?
Man, you know, I didn't have nobody because you right. Nobody paid me no mind. Not necessarily from the candidates. It was more like kind of like media, and as well. I think the candidates, I would say from the candidates as well, and I say from the standpoint that it wasn't really in their what I'm gonna say, like beneficial or whatever. I think to like come at me or make me look bad or anything or use anything against me. You know what I'm saying?
I know what I was gonna say, man. When you I'm on this, man. This is. Every animals got me right now. I'm gonna let y'all know.
My boy can't remember a question.
Damn. Shit. I'm gone right now. My bad, man. I cut you off. Go ahead.
Hey, the marijuana. There's nothing wrong with the marijuana to a certain degree.
I've been up
they
since
do
5.
tap into the memories.
I've been up since 5, man. Shit.
We is big high on the podcast.
Yeah, we like 4 blunts in before we started. And we 2 into.
No, but I didn't have I didn't have nobody. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't running against any of them really. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in it for a whole nother purpose. You know, I didn't expect to win. I tried to win, but I didn't expect to win because it was more about getting a seat at the table, which what that move was for. Was getting, you know what I'm saying, our people's voice at the table. Now, you know, if I was like if the regular, I'm not saying that I'm irregular or higher or above anybody, but if a citizen tries to get certain meetings with certain departments or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes they'll make you wait a long time, they might play you off, this, that, and the third. And depending on what you want to talk about, you know, they kind of play on your knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Like you might not know the right things to say to make them talk. With me, they gave the opportunity where, man, I'm at the table. I can be put at the table. You know I know the lingo. You know I can, you know what I'm saying, whatever lingo not being understood, I will understand it. If I'm there, a lot of times people bring me to meetings with them to talk to them and stuff to have, you know what I'm saying, a fair balance where, you know, I guess I'm like the witness. I always come as the spirit. Like I said when I was at the table, man, you know, I'm considered spiritual counsel. You know what I'm saying? So it opened up a lot of doors from that perspective, which we and myself are still working on today. This was a marathon. It was definitely a marathon. So everything that you going to be seeing, like I told Prez, I said, man, you be the first person that I'm gonna talk with before I go talk anything else. I said, but at that point, it'll be at the point when it's time to start moving, and it's now time to start moving. So a lot of stuff that you will be seeing over the next X amount of weeks, months, and this, that, and the third, man, it's gonna be built up from years. It's been in effect and works for years. You know what I'm saying?
Just chilling, yeah, just building. Just building.
I say you would have won. I don't know how politics is to win, the election is and stuff like that. But if it was like 2 years or a year before, like just man, cause like if voting really go, the people is gonna vote for you. Like that, just like 2 years before was like the best time for you to do it. You know what I mean? That was like the hype. That was 250. It was a 250 era. You can kind of like if you ain't from Springfield, I ain't even trying to get on nobody mess and nothing like that. I'm just saying how my life, how I feel like it was a 250 era. Just like you knew when 50 Cent dropped. Yeah. It was when you knew when that Nas dropped when they was beefing stuff like that when when Weezy was dropping all the mixtapes. You remember that little era? It was a 250 era, man. It was a 250 era. And like 2 years before you made your little jump, you would have did it, man. Yeah. And also, I always thought, man, you would have been mayor by now if you would have jumped off as an alderman first or something like that, or like I respect it because you jumped out. I'm a boss, so I'm about to do some boss shit. You know what I mean? Sure. Win or lose, I'm jumping out there. I feel just if you just took a step back, you'd be married right now. So you'd be somewhere real close to maybe something better than married. Who says married is a good ass spot? It could be that spot right there, senator. No, I want that spot where I can do all the shit and you don't even notice me. I ain't really like
lieutenant governor.
I can get it everywhere. I'm just busting out passes all the time. I can get it anywhere. You know what I mean?
Well, the with that, like. A lot of folks said that it was like, man, you should have went for alderman first and this and the third. And not to be cocky or nothing, but I knew in the alderman spot, according to what I would have ran for, I'm saying I knew I would have won that. You know what I'm saying, with no problem. But I technically really didn't ever want to sit in the seat. You know what I'm saying? This was a marathon that was put together. Like I'm telling you, when things come to a point of even, I won't even say half, when just the peak is starting to go up, you're going to see that this is years of work, of stuff that's been put together, that there was no way that I could have went on the inside. Right. Because when you say to be at them certain levels, the question is you going to play the game to get to the levels? That's when the real question comes in.
The game.
And some people, they'll say, well, you kind of got to do this and that to kind of get here and there. You got to change stuff on the inside. Well, there's one thing I got a problem with. Why in music, why the club and everything else took the routes that they went, I never sold out, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's plenty of people that know that I have been at deals, tables, and opportunities of 6 figures, close to $1 million figures that could have been signed. But I never sold out because, man, I never had to. You know what I'm saying? And maybe sometimes I look at it, but it don't bother me. Sometimes I look at it as like, damn, Sam, like, shit, you just went ahead and kind of just been a little quiet and just got that done. But then, as I see what's going on today and what I have known to study even further, that, man, you can't change it from the inside, bro. That's a lie. You gotta keep perpetuating what's going on if you want to get to whatever point for you to make some type of change. But it's always just a Band-Aid change. That's it, that's all. So my type of talk and the things I wanted to do wasn't welcome into the political world, because it's kind of like, whoa, hold on. You thought that's how it played? Oh, you thought really you could come in here and you ain't gonna be able to help everybody. Oh no, I don't work like that. Let me show you how this works. You gonna get straight. Few of your people will get straight. But as far as everybody else, oh, that's smoke screen. That's not how this really works. So, you know, for me, it was like, oh, okay, well, I'm in the wrong place then. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? If my people can't eat, I can't eat either.
It's politics.
So I knew that I always would be the outside going against the other side because, man, it's fake and phony, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so fake. I'm going to tell you how fake and phony it is. Like, I'm just giving you this example to understand what I'm saying. You got the black movement going on right now. I'm going to use the word black. So you have where, do you know if you took out, it's like you giving me stats about the millionaires, stuff out there. So when we talk about black folks becoming in their real free or some kind of protection or whatever. Now imagine you work for the city and state.
Right.
You make X amount of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Let's say both of y'all make $80,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? You're making decent money around here, whatever. Okay, so let's say if black folks all of a sudden, let's say 35% of them is now going to opt out of the current government system in a way where it's going to be maybe like Indians or it's going to be kind of like the Moors or whatever. These different jurisdictions where now we can't even touch you. We can't even legally do to you what we have been doing. You know what I'm saying? What that does, that's a whole chunk of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
That comes out. So now guess what we gotta tell you? Hey, we're gonna have to take you down your payment. You know, we're gonna have to reduce your salary down to about $60,000 a year. What? What you gotta reduce? What? 60? Now you was at 80. You at 60. Well, there was a whole bunch of intelligent black folks that finally woke up that kind of opted themselves up out of the system. So the money that the state and them was making and everything on these people of their ignorance, we're no longer making that money no more. So everybody's budget got to take a hit because we are the butt of the system financially. So this is why I tell folks, like, you screaming black what you want to do with black, but is you willing to do what it really takes for a black to really be free? You know what I'm saying? Because that'll go to the point. That's just like certain folks like that, to where your salary is gonna be cut because the money is made off of taxes,
Right.
Of when we paying public officials, people, whatever else. So now when that type of money, when we going in and out of jail, we paying bond money that we shouldn't be paying bond money, and they putting this and that on us, whatever. When you are no longer doing that, where's the money come from now?
Big facts.
You see what I'm saying? Like the money now, that takes a big hit. So now imagine you take a bigger percent of black folks and they're more knowledgeable, whatever. Man, it's gonna keep hitting everybody's pocket. So now it's gonna be like, oh man, hold on. Y'all need to put them, this the black man gonna say to the other black man, y'all need to put them niggas back up in there. I need my I need my $80,000 I got this, I got that, whatever. So it's like, we gotta watch what we asking for. Cause we just asking with no knowledge, you know what I'm saying? We not understanding the statutes and the Constitution. We not reading economic impact. We ain't understanding what's really going on.
Okay. Yeah, because I never even thought about that.
Oh,
and you just saying that just opened a whole nother rabbit hole, literally just to go down, just to.
I tell, because a lot of people who work for state and city in all type of different cities and states, they have the cry of, man, what's happening to our black folks, whatever, that stuff need to change, and this, that, boom, boom. I tell them every time. That's what makes them be like, damn, I never even thought about that.
But see, as an entrepreneur, I think I can market myself to where I'm not going to be super severely affected by what's going on, but I understand the ramifications for other people, and I understand the ramifications for the economy as a whole.
So now you see how important it is to where, like, okay, are you ready to do what it needs to be done for us to get what we need to, as well? Meaning now you got to transition into possibly entrepreneurship or jumping into another way or something else. Are you ready?
Can you do that? Can you pick up a vocation to stay relevant?
Yeah.
Can you become a mechanic? Can you become a veterinarian? Can you do something that's going to make sense for you moving into this new phase? Can you farm?
Can you do that?
You know what I mean?
Buy a farm. put like 1,000 apartment complexes on it. Niggas on it. Sure, bang. All we need is a grocery store in there.
Gas station.
Damn. So well, it should be a grocery store here in town, black owned grocery store. It should be some, like, we don't own shit in this town, man. Like, and if you do,
Playing the political game, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we were talking about pre-show.
And them zonings.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about them zonings,
that too.
like, you want to do something, you got the idea and everything, and it come down to, like, what Cam was saying, like, man, let's just go ahead and build it from the ground up, this and the third, and they got to run to the zoning. It's like, oh, well,
Yeah.
it's a good idea, but we're not going to zone for that.
Yeah.
Project done.
Yeah. And then, before it even gets off the ground, I mean, you turn around 18 months later and they did exactly what you was trying to do. You know what I mean? But they said you couldn't do it.
Right.
It's ugly. It's an ugly game. And then, so knowing that you, and you really opened another whole set of questions for me, but we'll leave it alone or we'll talk post show, whatever. But
whatever.
You said, about trying to come into the game and change it. So it's like even just small level things, like even the zoning, the trying to start a business. I mean, starting a business in Sangamon County is super easy to do.
Right.
Super duper easy to do. But then maintaining said business or getting permits to work or doing things of that nature become tedious. You know what I mean? And it's like this whole thing. You know,
Right. So if that's tedious, if that level is, then imagine all levels above it. That I'm saying, just from certain levels that I've seen how tedious it is and how out of compliance it is.
Yeah.
The whole system's out of compliance, bro. The whole system is literally out of compliance for the most part. And the people who being hurt the most is the colored people. The people who being hurt the most is poor white people.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got the poor white people that live in three forms. They live within where we are, or they're out there in the rural areas, or they're in the trailer spots. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Basically, there it is. It's the white hood trailer park ain't nothing but a white hood.
Yeah.
That's literally what a trailer park is.
Yeah.
It ain't never gonna change, man. Because we in the system. You can't beat the system
if you're operating within it.
You can't, because if you're in the system, you going with the rules. You know what I mean? They don't like
so it have to be complete sovereignty on a personal level first, and then teaching people that you can live this way.
Look, all right.
To the point that you create a small society, to the point that you create a larger society.
The way you do it, you gotta start by you gotta get people brave enough to do the shit. You know?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely living off what you grow and what you farm and what you mean? Because that's sustainable.
Yeah,
you have to sustain on that level. Then you have to create a barter system or some form of currency.
Look, it's a nigga out there selling.
You feel what I'm saying?
Get the first money. We gotta touch on that, man. Like, who gets the money first? How does that work?
Like, if we start this new society, does everybody start?
We gonna have friends that, so he can answer that when he get done. Cause we gotta know, man.
So we're starting a new society. So we're starting a new black society, right? Black banks only, black grocery stores only, black gas stations only, black doctors, black dentists, black everything black only. We're coming up with our own currency, right?
Okay.
So starting our own currency as the black delegation, who gets what money first? And how do we distribute it to start?
Shit, the toughest get the money first. See what you're supposed to do.
Hold on, who's the toughest?
But
we the last nigga standing.
What about all the kids?
What about all the what you saying? Old people and kids. We don't need them to talk about shit. We don't need it's the niggas who can do some shit. You know what I'm saying? So I need my leaders to be able to whoop a motherfucking Trump ass. I need my leaders to be able to whoop
we just talking about the brand.
just how you distribute the brand. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have tears, okay?
You beat up this many people, you get this much
No,
bread.
last man standing. If you so 1 through 100, number one, you only getting 10,000. Okay, you know what I mean? First person out get 10,000, all the way up to 10 million. You know what I'm saying? So number one, the prize is 10 million.
So you saying that in your population, the people gotta fight?
We're gonna fight
To get the money.
It's like that's man. What else we supposed to do?
So when we have this thing out,
I don't want no. You don't want no lottery.
Here's the thing.
You want the nigga that's gonna fight for this shit. I'm gonna fight for it. You know? True.
I think we go even wealth distribution to a point. You know what I mean? We come up, like you said, tiers of wealth distribution for the levels of what the fuck it is you bring to the table. And I'm just being honest because some people are more valuable to society than other
What's
people.
valuable?
That's fucked
A
up.
mechanic is the most valuable if you think about it. You know what I mean? So they're gonna keep shit
Absolutely.
running. So do they do a mechanic get the
First off, think about what a mechanic makes. Mechanic make anywhere from $20 to $45 an hour if they're a good mechanic.
Yeah.
I'm not bullshitting. That's a good ass job.
It is. I mean,
That's a solid ass
Is the
gig.
mechanic the leader of the
What about a doctor?
New Black
I'm
City?
saving lives. I'm saving lives. What about me though?
The doctor, that's your job. You supposed to, I mean, okay,
Wait
you important. But number one, what we're gonna do is teach everybody. We're gonna teach everybody how to do that shit.
This level of expertise.
We're gonna teach everybody how to do that shit.
Everybody's gonna be a surgeon.
Everybody
gonna be operating on brains in the crib.
We're gonna have about in the nation of New Black City, we're gonna have about like 1,000 surgeons.
Should we all move to Wakanda? Akon is building Akon City over in Senegal. Should we all go?
Why not? I mean, should you leave
I don't think so. Because they already got a whole bunch of people over there waiting to eat.
This is what I'm about to say. If we do go there, all you gotta do is guarantee me some food and a place, I'll leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll go
See,
back to where I come from.
Now look, he gonna go over there and you got people over there who don't got a place, don't got food, you get to come right over here and you got food in the plate.
Do you know
they gonna be on your ass.
Hey, you know what? Look, we build something. You gonna need some niggas, we fight. We gonna
listen, they don't
I'm on that too.
See now you see what I'm saying? How crazy the money is.
Yeah.
The president basically say his thing is, man, shit. The best man standing gonna fight, we gotta get the money out. Now I thought he was gonna say something else and kind of fumble on the question. He came right on out like hell.
That's how you supposed to do it.
Listen, man, this Mortal Kombat. Either you win it or you don't, bro.
How the lions determine who the king of the pack? The motherfucker who the baddest. You know what I mean?
So look,
but I'm saying we're starting a society, and we want to have basically as peaceful a society as possible, right?
Hey, Trump coming, so we need the baddest motherfucker ready to whatever it takes.
We ain't talking about what Trump. We talking about.
No, I'm saying
we just had to start on.
In New Black City,
right? Peace. If we start over, it's peace. So we gonna start the violence?
Start over what? Is it peace in New Black City?
Yeah,
but around like.
No, we almost said that.
We've decided that this 100 people is brave enough to start New Black City, right? This coalition of 100 people, however many kids, women, men, we're gonna go start New Black City, right?
Okay.
So we've got some land, we've got everything, the essentials basically to start New Black City.
We came from Trumpville though.
Now why you keep trying to put Trump in?
America.
No, man, we got some land.
It's in America. We're still in America. We're in the section of America.
Trump coming. He coming. We want his 50%.
Leave Trump out of it.
When I say Trump, I'm saying the government.
So what we're saying is, when we start this new Black City, there's gonna be a new form of currency.
Okay.
Because there has to be. We're breaking away from America.
But we in America.
It doesn't matter. We're sovereign.
Okay.
Almost like DC. You didn't know DC is sovereign. DC is sovereign.
You just brought up something.
The District of Columbia is sovereign. Where they house the President of the United States is sovereign from the United States. It is not the United States.
We got to come back to that one because I got something to talk on that. But yeah,
You didn't know that?
No, I did, but
No, you didn't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, DC. That's why if you ever
I just
see
found out
United
what DC
States
stand for.
territories in Columbia.
I just found out what DC stands.
District.
okay, so say you started off America first. Let's try to get. Say you was the forefather. All right, we got to ask for currency. How do we determine who gets? If we got people, how do you determine who
There's
gets the
100
currency
people.
first? You
How
need
much
this currency to still do
Shouldn't
stuff.
all the adults start with basically equal bread?
I mean, no. I mean, it's some people who ain't gonna be doing nothing.
But everybody shouldn't get a chance to start equally. Everybody should get it because
How
the currency
bad do you want this money?
We're starting our own bank.
Are you gonna put?
We're starting our bank, dog. Almost like the money is monopoly money.
If you don't want to fight,
the money is only backed by our city. The money is only backed by our city and the revenue our city can generate.
If you don't want to fight for it,
Prez want to fight.
Well, I guess I'm boxing for my 10 grand and whatever I lose, I
no, you ain't gotta fight and you get 10,000. Okay.
Okay, we start equal
So
footing.
now, are you gonna enter the Royale now?
No.
Because if you want more, you're gonna have to fight for the rest of it. Okay. So that's what I'm saying.
Why can't you just go to work?
Yeah, what happened to the jobs then?
Who the boss? We gotta know who the boss is now. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
this motherfucker gotta say.
So Brad basically saying that war is gonna have to go on.
It's
first.
always a battle.
War.
It ain't gotta be a war, but it's always a battle. Some
Okay,
type of battle. It could be a
So
debate,
before any peaceful
a voting system. I say just get down to it. Ain't no voting. It's just banging. We're gonna bang it out. Shoot, everybody watching is gonna be good. We can sell this stuff on YouTube, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? Who's gonna be the president of New Black City? It's gonna be a fight.
You see what Brad is? It's just what it is. Brad is like, okay,
It said I've been training for this moment my whole life. I cannot wait to be the president of New Black.
That don't sound like, don't it? Sound like he set a matchup.
He's been
What's that Mel Gibson movie?
I'm trying to take the civil route, be a little literary with it. You said, no, I'm just going to punch everybody in the mouth before I'm the president of New Black City. Now, what's up?
Only person I gotta worry about is Bobby Brick.
I was just gonna say, though, I guess it's gonna be you and Bobby Brick.
I'm fast though. I'm really fast though. You know what I mean? And then for the president, Bob, we're gonna go in. I'm gonna go crazy. Man, I gotta try to get
You almost went
I
Wolverine.
gotta get
You gotta fight Bobby Brick, huh?
Man, I guess I'm gonna be vice president or president.
Hold on. So what's the rules to the fight? Who becomes? How does somebody become the judge person to make the rules?
And how much do they get paid?
Listen, it's like the simplest thing ever.
Ain't no rule.
Look, it's like this. Okay, you want to battle for the spot? Put your name in the hat. 1, 2, y'all going against each other, and you lose, you out. Next, you know what I'm saying? Till the last one.
What's the rule? That's the only rule.
We men fighting.
So we fight how we want to fight.
It's no weapons. And
See, now you sound like the president. Because you making the rules and everything.
Should we have weapons? Is it who can stab the most, or is it who?
That's what we're saying.
If there's no peace, you're not coming with no peace. You said we fight for the money. We're gonna have different levels, and you're gonna have to have what was the last part that you just said? Huh?
This is peace. You lost. This is when you lose, that's a conclusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're not trying to blow you away.
You got your life. You got some money because you did enter the contest. This is not.
So everybody else in the other population who don't want to fight or whatever,
They got 10,000.
They got 10,000.
They got 10,000. Boom. You don't want to be the man. You don't want to be the man. Okay, so this is what you get. If you want to get in the competition, boom, just enter the competition, gets you 20,000.
So now after that,
and then
right?
Yeah.
So this person went to the tournament to become the president of New Black City. So I'm with you. Alright. So wait, I'm with you. The summation of the tournament is somebody becomes the president of New Black City, right?
Yes.
We'll say you hypothetically.
Yes, sir.
I trust your fighting skills.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how is there like an election process, or is there just a tournament held every 4 years until you lose? The you feel what I'm saying? Is that a stupid question, or is that like super?
No, but people gonna want their rematch. If he beats Bobby Prince gonna want a rematch.
So, but does he have to wait 4 years
Or
to
if
get
he
it?
Well, Bobby Prince be vice president at that time.
Oh, so if you're the runner-up, and then okay. So the positions in city then go to people. So like, if you lose it, what is the next in command?
So look, I'm the president. And whoever lost, so I'm the president, vice president. Shoot, Kyra Boy, he voted behind there.
Shouts out, man. Kyra Boy has a fight coming up on Dana White's Contender Series for UFC. That's my little cousin. He's training with Prezzo. Your man, family ties, man. August, what, 25th?
I don't know.
I know it's an August fight, man.
I'm gonna know that.
Hey, I know it's an August fight, man. There's nothing but love this way, man. Shouts out. He actually tunes into the show quite a bit, so shouts out to that, man.
Yeah.
Huge opportunity, and I expect nothing but fireworks. The kid has finished his last 7 fights, submission and knockouts. If you don't know, now you know. Don't get in the scramble because the knees are dead. They're coming in all, them things come in all angles. Them things come in all angles, and they're heavy.
So in order, whoever lost from winner to loser is the cabinet now. Okay. So now we got a voting system. Okay.
Right.
And however many. So let's say top 18 will.
But I'm saying, if you and the president and the vice president have a disagreement, then you get to a fight.
How does
Is he
that work?
now the president? And he beats your ass.
Only every third.
So it's like, so here's the thing.
every third.
So you can only bring the squabble. So you can only bring the squabble twice a month to become the president. That's a lot of turnover, fam.
Hey, I mean, shoot, there's always gonna be some training there.
That's a lot of, but now the president's spending all this time training and not really focused on the needs of the people anymore. Now we're losing.
No, the vice president, eventually you're gonna say, okay, man, you can't whoop me. Let's just go ahead and, no, you only get 2 chances. You only get 2 chances.
So what if a new president is in? Can you try your chance to whoop his ass? Or her ass, for that matter?
Every 2 years. We don't do 4 years. We do every 2 years.
So you get 2 chances to whoop the president while he's the president, and then you have to wait 2 years.
And then, if you want to fight,
but now it sounds like
no, can't nobody just come fight the president. I'm the president. You know what I mean? So number one, there's a fucking league over here.
So you have to fight your way through the
You gotta fight your way to fight the president. What? How bad do you want it? I fought 100 people to get here. You know what I mean? How bad do you want it? Yeah. You know what I mean?
So we pretty much know that somehow, somewhere we should be a safe city because we got to fight.
Everybody can fight.
Everybody can fight.
And now you see where I'm getting to now. Okay. Now we warriors. So in America, cause we sovereign, we DC, we black, New Black City. We on the side, you know what I mean? When America say, man, these motherfuckers over here ninjas, and we gotta go stop that shit, we gonna stop that first. You know what I mean? Now but we warriors. We gotta have the best army now. You know, we gotta have the 300. Because they got America, they got a lot of motherfuckers, we surrounded. You know what I mean? So, if they gonna try to get in this motherfucker, they gonna have to die, a lot of them. You know what I mean? So, hand to hand, in New Black City. White people, you are invited to New Black City. I'm just saying. You can come, okay? But you must get an actual black card.
And there's gonna be a test, like a test.
There's a test if you can come to New Black City.
Like almost like how America does citizenship.
I don't care if you got black kids. You still gotta take the test. You
have to answer this amount of questions correctly to be able to be a citizen and get your black card.
So let me touch on what you had spoke on about the DC, right?
Yeah, talk to me.
So you know,
I got my fuck shit out. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead. So you know, looking at solutions. So think about like here when we at Springfield, right? And we are quote unquote from the man who freed the slave. And I think we all would have all type of different opinions about how we really feel, how that actuality is. So, what better city, what better black folks to free themselves in the reality of something, according to the man that's from this city that we from, did not finish or do in the completion. Mm-hmm. So, what if Springfield or we created a boundary or whatever, let's take the black city or whatever, and we made a DC district,
New black city,
in Springfield, in a certain area of town, we made a DC district where then, it wouldn't be DC, but we make like a DC district, a federal district, to where we then protect ourselves from every level, because we from under the Constitution at that time, federal level, I mean state and all that, and that doesn't do nothing with us. And then we can administer other spots, like as if they're states, but it can be the United Cities.
A popular place.
A popular place.
A popular place.
In other cities, man, like Peoria, you know, other areas, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But we make us a district, a federal district.
No, we're the United Districts or the United Cities, that would be decent.
Cause we not free. No. That free shit, man, we free to the point where you free not to, you in the freedom world where basically it is like a sovereignty knowledge. You gotta know your own lit. Because while they playing the roles on us, you see what I'm saying? If you don't know your lit, you going by what's what. But it goes back to, like I said, when you free, it's like you free from what? Free of what? Free to do what?
Right.
And when you're under those certain groups, then it's a whole nother play when, let's say we got our group, Black City, and they whip out their identity card to a police officer, let's take like Springfield Police Department officer. Mm-hmm. And when he sees that, I can't even detain you. I can't touch you. I can't do none of that because you're in a whole other jurisdiction. So when you got stuff like that, how do I get to the point of even violating your constitutional rights? I can't go past the identity card. Right. How do I get to the point of you chokeholding? How do I get to the point of you shooting? Mm-hmm. This is the part of where black folks really ain't free to the degree they think. All Abraham Lincoln did was put in emancipation, basically just at the executive office level, he stopped the ass whoopings of slavery. But it never went into law at that point. Think about it. They just stopped practicing slavery status. Mm-hmm. That's it, that's all. So after that, what paperwork did we put forth? What nationality did we put forth? What paperwork had your mama signed, you signed, or whatever? You see what I'm saying? We not free, bro. Uh-huh. Right. That's why what they doing to us, they can get away with it how they doing it as long as they don't get caught red-handed. How the video stuff is showing stuff, whatever now. Because they got on their side the judge, the court, the sheriff jail, the state's attorney office, this, that, and the third. They got
the same thing. Shouts out to my girl, man. She's got a brilliant mind. And one thing we like to do is discuss current events. And the bad part is they're not current because through the history of our people, they keep repeating themselves. But one thing we like to discuss is, here goes that marijuana again. One thing we like to discuss is the treatment of people by police and how it's been the same and how can it be any different if the start of the police was literally to catch slaves. You know what I mean? To catch slaves that were on the run or free slaves. They were literally slave catchers. And it's indoctrinated. The racism is indoctrinated in the police. So we can defund, we can try to change. What can we, okay. The country is still a civil unrest.
So it's not in the police, not to cut you off, it's not in the police.
It's the system, period.
It's actually in it's in the algorithm. It's in the algorithm because the cop is trained, when you do this, I do this. This lets me get away with this. Remember you were talking about we were talking about the digital currency.
Yeah.
I got the word to use, but it's like when this button is pushed, that button, boom, boom, boom.
It's the keystrokes.
The keystrokes.
It's whatever, it's this right here.
So once you change the keystrokes and the algorithm, The police officer has to change the way that he or she is doing their course order.
Facts.
Now, the reality is that they really out of line, out of compliance, and illegally doing their job. I mean, bro, when I say we look at certain stuff and going, we be like, man, they've been doing that. But I'm gonna give you something that I know all three of us are victims of.
Now, you actually took this to another level. You had a lawsuit against the Springfield Police Department.
Right.
Now, there are some things, I'm not sure what the level of discussion can be, but there was a lot of media coverage on that.
Right.
Especially from our end on the black side, there was a lot of media coverage. They talked about it a lot because, I don't know what the outcome was, a victory or a no, or see?
I lost. You know how I lost? I got fucked from the bottom to the top and the top to the bottom. I just have came to the conclusion of the whole story here in 2020. I've been fighting that since. I'm still fighting that.
Yeah.
And I have other lawsuits that is coming because I'm under illegal, what I call a ransom right now. Being taken to jail for something that's not a law in the whole wide world, and they kept me in there for 2 days. This is what I'm saying about, bro, when I say what they doing is illegal, bro, they're kidnapping us.
And then charging you to get out, and then...
Or even if they don't charge you. Do you know OR? So we know the OR as you don't pay nothing to get out.
Right.
The OR in reality is you don't pay nothing to get out, but they pull a bond down of insurance on your name. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, but what if you in there for something that's not even a crime?
Right.
And we're gonna let you out in the OR. You cool with like, man, I have to pay nothing to get out, whatever. But the state just made some money by pulling a bond on your name. Now where did you sign some paperwork at about this bond on your name? That's like me putting a bond. That's like me putting up a bond. That's like me and Prez. We got $10,000 bond. Me and Prez like we're gonna put up 10,500 apiece. Now we don't even tell you about it.
Right.
What the fuck money and profit are we to make for putting up 10,000 just to put it up, bro?
I don't say, and then there was I listened to a podcast called Earn Your Leisure. Shouts out to Earn Your Leisure, man. They actually broke down how police brutality is a paid thing. Like there's payments. They take out insurance. There's police brutality insurance.
Yeah.
And then it only covers up to so much. So then the city, state, municipality has to turn around and then pay out in bonds or cover the losses of the police brutality. So now the banks make money on this because they issue loans to the municipalities.
So the money just rotates in a circle.
The insurance companies, the banks, the municipalities all make money off of the beating of poor white people, black people, police brutality, period.
Now you see what I'm talking about. If you pull those people out, you just said black and white, poor folk. If you pull them out and say we no longer ignorant no more. Bro, do you know how much money that is that drops that now what I'm saying, that whole system of people who work for the city and state, people who work on the streets for the, public works and all that. Now I gotta tell you, oh yeah, you was making 50, but we gotta take you down to $32,000 a year now.
For capitalism to be successful on the level that it's successful, there has to be a working poor or an almost slave class for there to be billionaires and multimillionaires.
Yeah.
People cannot hoard money on that level if they're not people that are working for pennies or living for less. You feel what I'm saying? Living on less, like dead serious. Like, I mean, you cannot, like, there's literally a working poor. You can go to work 40, 50 hours a week and not have a dime by the time you pay everything you're supposed to pay. Or try to catch up on everything you're supposed to catch up on. Or, you know what I mean?
Now you have to ask yourself
to do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Now you have to ask yourself, what do we really live in? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that we really live in?
The Matrix.
For real.
Green screen, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that we really live in that the system is set up on that like that?
To be that way, like, why? How? Who? What?
Because there's levels of interest of hidden hands each one. Let's say me and you at the top level.
Mm-hmm.
Prayers at the second. Let's use our boy Bobby Brent at the
I'm
third.
president. Hold on.
Yeah, so you're right. You is the president. You second. Listen to what I'm saying, man.
Right.
Me and him is
We're the hand.
we hidden hands. You the president. You got the vice president, et cetera, et cetera. Now, to keep our interests, we have to make sure that nothing is rattling that gets further and further up because they get closer to me and you.
Yeah.
So there's literally levels to what we see of the presidents, all that, man, it's a whole nother level up there, bro.
We're allowed to see.
Like, man, Britain and them, but for people to think, man, Britain, we still in the hands of Britain and them for real.
Yeah.
Canada and France, we still in these nations for real. You think about me and you cousins. Okay, we get into it. You over there in America, I'm over here, whatever else. We get to a point and we fall out, whatever else. But for our best interest to keep what we keep, we're gonna negotiate some of the back end for us to be able to stop all this fighting to keep our interest. So when do you think England ever took their hands out the pot of America in reality? When these are their people, bro. These are their cousins.
Never.
That's what we got.
Never.
You know what I'm saying? These are their cousins, bro. So where they going? Oh, they finna kick us out of America. We finna all come back to Europe. Hell no, you ain't.
Yeah.
We gonna do whatever we gotta do to make sure, cause we crowded over here.
We kicked y'all out in the first place.
Come on, man. Hey, cuz, we gotta work something out, cause when you come over here, you finna start being in my shit. Hell no, we gotta figure some other tricks out. That's why I say, what is it that we live in? This shit, like, man, this shit's so real, bro. And I'm talking about, like, they playing on our body. They're literally kidnapping our body. Like, for example, I was saying what we both understand, like with the OR,
social media
and everything.
Social media changed it. That's what I really wanted to get into. Me and my bro discuss that all the time. Social media changed it because now the power of the camera, the power of the internet, the power of everybody being media has changed it. And you kidnapping people. There are now stories during all of these protests and stuff. Militia groups dressing as police officers, kidnapping black people, zip tying them, everything, and now they're popping up on trees all around the country. Come on, man.
Oh yeah.
This isn't pretend. This isn't a joke.
And see that's so look at that's the other step of kidnapping. That's the kidnapping. Look at like that's a crime.
Yeah.
But bro, to get to that point, look where it's in the system. An officer, like my 2013 case, I found out that I could speak. I'm going back at it, and I got more cases. But see, I'm my own attorney. So I'm pro saying. So when people be saying, "Oh, I can't really talk about the case because this and the third," man, listen, I'm talking about whatever I'm gonna talk about because I'm gonna show what the fuck they doing because this shit is bullshit. What's going on? Right. This shit being translated to our kids, bro. When I say that, imagine how could you go to sleep at night, bro? Imagine yourself being a judge and you steady sending bodies away for time, family. You can go to sleep like that. And not even have a care.
Not blink.
I ain't even looked at all the paperwork, whatever else going, you know what I'm saying, 10 years.
I'm scanning it right now, just talking to me.
I always said this thing was
man, come on, man, what kind of shit is that, bro? This is somebody's life.
This is the first time I'm looking at it as you talking to me, fam. I haven't even thought about it. I got a case docket, I got 12 of these I gotta get through. My lunchtime is at 1 o'clock, fam. Fuck is you talking about?
So now think about this. The people who's on the people who's on the inside.
That's an industrial complex, man. They're getting money. It's not about justice. they're getting money. And then they're getting money at every opportunity they can for people who cannot help or fight for themselves.
And that shit going to us though. You know what I mean? Like the whole system, we sitting in it, they got us on the line, standing there waiting to talk to the judge. You step up in there to
that's missing time at work. I gotta pay for childcare because my kids can't come to court with me. I might lose my job because I'm at court or because I got arrested for a non-crime. Now I lost my damn job. I done lost affiliations. People don't want to mess with me because I got arrested.
So do you know
the police beat?
Do you know the law? What the police can do? This is how you know it's a business to a degree, like what y'all saying. That like what you just talked about, non-violent crime, whatever. They don't even have to arrest you, bro. They have the right up to $600 to fine to give you a citation and keep it for that and man, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they really want to take the body. So my 2013 case, bro, was dealing with where the officer wanted me to get out of the vehicle to sign a citation. If I did not get out of the vehicle, then I was going to be arrested to sign the citation. Now this is the shit. Now you got this on camera. This on camera, bro. Like first off, at that particular time, I didn't even know myself because my whole life I've been signing. I didn't even know that by law you didn't have to sign a citation. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I always sign it.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like a bond or whatever they take.
That you're gonna come to court or whatever, but it's also kind of like admitting. But really, the traffic is not a criminal thing.
No, it's a non-criminal.
So technically, Because you got to think about it. The Constitution said that you are not to be held for capital.
Right.
Well, if you're making me sign for something that's in exchange for a bond, because when
you got me. That was a
you see what I'm saying?
said that. Oh.
So them no.
So that's non-constitutional. For you to do that, that's absolutely non-constitutional.
Because
I don't know what I'm signing.
your license, right? You don't know what you're signing, and your license is being exchanged for what?
For
bond.
For bond.
Why is it bond?
That's capital.
Because you paid that $25 for your license. That license money that they collect off per license, the Secretary of State and them put within bond money because they know you come back and get your license every what? 10 years, 5 years. So how much interest am I making on your $25 that sits there? That's why it's a bond. I will take your license. Why? Because I spent cash money for that.
Mm-hmm.
You're exchanging another bond as capital. So if you ain't gonna sign this, you don't give me your whether you going to jail tonight.
Yeah.
Fam, that is violating the fucking constitutional rights.
Those two entities shouldn't even be together.
They shouldn't be together.
They don't even go.
But they've been doing this. This is what I'm saying of how we gotta really wake up and understand what we in. Because we sitting here where we got a whole perspective to where they know this is illegal, bro. But I'm still gonna run your body through the whole process. The judge knows it's illegal, the state's attorney knows it's illegal, the police officer knows it's illegal.
It's an industrial complex because prisons became a privatized system in this country, man.
Come on, man.
And they have to feed it. If you can't feed that, then you're not feeding. And again, because their companies, AT&T, McDonald's, there are hundreds of Fortune 500 companies that use prisoners, but then will not turn around and hire those same prisoners that have 8, 10, 12 years experience in the company.
Right.
I've been answering phones for AT&T for 12 years in the joint for 32 cents a day, but I can't do it in real life when I get out, running the same exact script for $10, $12, $15 an hour that you're doing because I'm a felon. I can't. Come on, man.
So we're knowing that, President.
What you gonna do about it?
We know what they legally kidnapping.
We don't do that. This new black city. Sure, we find you. We beat your ass. We ain't got guns in New Black City.
Whoa! So as we going to beat, so now we know that they're illegally kidnapping us right now. Are we gonna do something?
Oh, I'm down with the shit.
The fuck shit, right?
Look, I'm not the marching type. I'm not the protesting type. I'm not even the rioting type. But if we already get us some sneaky covert, let's go get this motherfucking type shit. Let's go do that. That's the ninja shit.
This is a real ninja.
I can jump up on the wall. I can go. I'm gonna get up the wall. I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? I can run away. I'm very fast. You know what I mean? So, you know, when y'all ready, y'all just let me know. It is a price on this. You know what I mean? Until we get be a sovereign nation, I need to get paid. Okay, so yeah, 20,000 a mission. How bad do you want it? What? You know what I mean? So just, yeah.
So you see what I'm saying though?
Oh,
Can't like that like that's like to me that's like fucked up. And I had to learn it going through my own case and everything, whatever, because it was sitting there clear today, it's on tape and everything for the reason the man asked me to get out the vehicle. And for me to be ruled against, see, this is why I was running for mayor. See, it was back to politics. We can't have we winning while you trying to run. You trying to get too much sauce.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So when I say they done illegal, so I went back and I even found out that my lawyer, who fought the criminal case in the beginning, that they signed my name in the courtroom, made an agreement with the state's attorney that I never knew about. I just found in 2020. This was 2013. I just found out about an agreement.
And I didn't sign.
I didn't sign.
Y'all read them papers. That's something right there though in itself.
I just got my papers
That's
this
perjury.
year, 2020.
Ain't perjury bad?
Man, come on, brother. Oh, it's a lot going. It's
That's the best one. Are you kidding me? These are the best ones. Shouts out Nestle, Mr. Goodbar. Today's episode is not sponsored by them, but President always supplies the best snack.
I like the dark chocolate, man.
Yeah, that's the best. That's good for your health.
Yeah, so that's just super fire. Yeah, we on it, man. Shoot that. Vital said, what up? Keep doing your thing, Sam. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Y'all love. That's bro.
Do your thing at the camera one time.
Oh man,
I know you was talking about the book. Well,
my bad.
you called me chocolate mouth there.
Yeah, my bad. Don't do it.
Shout out to everybody on the live, man. We appreciate you tuning in every Wednesday. I see the hearts going crazy over here on President's Phone. We appreciate the hearts. We appreciate the likes. We need y'all to tell somebody. Merch coming soon. Real Ninjas Podcast t-shirts, mugs, hats, phone cases, lighters, bongs.
I got this is trademarked already. All right. You know what? I'm gonna wait till I get the shirt. I'm gonna wait till I make the shirt. I'm gonna make it first. The first
President's going crazy.
First President's Real Ninja Podcast t-shirt coming soon. Okay. Give me your presidents real quick on for me.
President's for me.
Is this a thing now? Or no? Let's see. What my presidents?
Words of wisdom.
No, he was talking.
We call them presidents.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna scroll. I got a couple.
They said I got a million presidents.
So I know the other, you were talking about the picture.
Yeah. All right, man. We got to double back on this before we get to the presidents. My man said was out in the wilderness with a Bible from slave time, butt naked.
I was gonna do that same picture. Just also, we gotta get that
hair out.
This is the challenge.
Hair out. Beard out, looking real jangle.
But I didn't want to make it like a joke of what he was doing. You know?
Right. Because it stood for some sort of.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
I'll do it.
So now we gotta check.
Hey, the book say, who said you was naked?
He said I had my Speedo rocking that joint. I got my Speedo rocking that joint.
The Adam Challenge.
But you went, I mean, like you definitely made a statement and people took it however they took it. There were a lot of comments about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what was the inspiration? What was the thought process? Talk to us about it, man, for real.
Man, so the spiritual journey that I've been on has been a very, very in-depth journey, like literally, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't even explain all what I have came into, what I have seen, experienced, you know what I'm saying, been through with it, whatever, you know. It's something that like I tell people all the time, you gotta experience it yourself,
right,
to fully understand it. Because me saying a lot of it I can't even speak about because I can't explain it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's within here and you have to experience it. So one of the things that I began to start practicing on that I'm sure y'all both will understand that, you know, we all been told this, but we really don't act on it. Is, you know, when you follow your instinct, think about how many times you don't follow. And you be like, damn, I should have did that. You think about those are what you was born with. Now, there's no word for that. That's, you know what I'm saying, that's what you was born with in the womb. You know what I'm saying? And it holds true that, think about that is something that is in you that's really real. And you know it's real because the times you used it, it was more good for you. And the times you didn't use it, it was like, I wish I'd have used it. So it shows you the percentage of the production of it. So that's one of the things that I had started to work on. We're like, you know what? I'm going to do exactly what God showed me. You know what I'm saying? Allah, Buddha, you know what I'm saying? Yahweh, whatever anybody want to call it, to me, it's, you know, it's the universe of it.
Yeah.
And as I've been, and the reason why I went with that, bro, is because everything I've been working on has actually been coming true, 100%. Okay. I'd be lying if I told you that it was 99%.
Right.
It might not be the time that I wanted, but when you think about it, time
is a false construct. Time is a false construct.
So as long as it happens, then it happens. Then it was true.
I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? The time is within man. So everything that I perceived in my head and everything literally was coming true of journeys and missions I wanted to be on, and knowing like, man, I'm gonna do this by myself or whatever else. And you know, it'd be like, don't worry about it, keep on moving. I mean, you're gonna find somebody that'll come your way, gonna do the same thing. You know, keep moving by yourself. You literally run into some people like, damn, like you was already told. I just didn't know who you were gonna be. I didn't know your name, anything like that, but you fit the description of what was told. That shit is real, right? So practicing that, I started going as coming up to this point of me just coming out and start just being out in the public talking and just being out more, you know what I'm saying? Getting out of the rabbit hole. Part of that was saying follow the visions that's being shown to you. Have faith in them. Just follow them. Do them. And I was the night before I was dreaming or whatnot. A vision came to me of that style of the picture.
Right.
So what I did was I did exactly what was put in my head. I didn't think of that shit. You see what I'm saying? It came to me. I was asleep. I woke up that morning, whatever, and I was just like, I'm just gonna do exactly what it showed. That's what I said. I'm gonna do exactly what it showed me, and then that's what I did. Now, it kind of led to I would say I had the Bible in my hand thing on my head anyway because go back to prayers, boy, Trump. The day before, this is when Trump. I remember when Trump used the army to
separate the crowd so he could go do the Nazi symbol in front of the he did the Hitler.
So
he did the Hitler. That was crazy. And the crazy part is he keeps using Nazi symbolism and acting like people don't see it and we don't understand it. Like we see it.
So a lot of people, right? But a lot of people don't. Certain eyes are seeing what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So when he did that, like when he came, he had the book and he was positioning it and moving and whatever else. In my eyes, what I seen, I said that's Antichrist. I remember saying that to myself. First thing I said, I was like, that's Antichrist. It was the first thing like in my head, I'm like, that's some Antichrist shit. Like this man is sending signs and symbols, you know what I'm saying, to certain folk. Because this is when he was telling the governors to tighten up on his National Guard or send them over there, send people in there, send motherfuckers in. So you think about like us sitting here talking or whatever, and I tell you, like the mission you talking about going on. And I say, man, look, we should be ready for the sign and symbol to do what needs to be done. Once we talk about it, man, especially sign and symbol, we ain't got to never talk again. That's how easy you can get away with doing something without it, you know what I'm saying, being caught. So when he was doing what he was doing, I just never being like, oh hell no.
He's exciting. He's definitely pandering to one side.
I'm like, man, I gotta come on out and speak. You know, it's time for me to get the fuck out the rabbit hole. Right. You know how long a month, like, man, bro, as we done ran into each other on elements and being around each other, I'd be like, I'm gonna get with you. How many times have I continued to be like, I'm trying to get this together, boom, boom, boom. After a while, I'm just like, fuck it, I gotta get out the rabbit hole. Right. You see what I'm saying? Because now you playing with trying to make perfect and chasing perfect that had your ass tasting your tail for so long, wasting time. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, that night, into that night of sleep, that's when I had the vision that was just that. So I woke up and I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to do it. And I did it. Now, when I did it with more to come because I already was coming up into starting to reveal stuff. Oh, you see what I'm saying? So the book that I had was an 1836 official book that was published from London, England. Okay. It wasn't like it was a book that was published out of New York that was revised from something. That means somebody brought this motherfucker from London, England. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And it was in my father's church. So I found it amongst a lot of old stuff in the church as I was looking for archives and stuff one day, right? So I found it amongst old stuff, but it wasn't like it was sitting like it was precious. Right. It was kind of like just around, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking, I pick it up, whatever, and I'm like, man, this is an old book. I'm like, what is this? Open it up. When I turned on the binder side, I see it said Holy Bible. I was like, damn, it's a Bible. So then I opened it up, and I see got the Roman numeral numbers still in and all that different stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's talking about it got all the stuff at the beginning, a lot of stuff that they have taken out. We're talking about the names and the commission of the 47 or 45. I think they had that translated the book into English and all of that. So it's talking about all this stuff. I'm talking about even had parts in there, bro, where it literally said that we have I ain't got the words correct, but we have like the archives of the original. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like this shit was in that book. So I'm sitting up here and I'm just like, okay, so that's where I was. Now at this point in time, I was studying Genesis for 3 years. Okay. You see what I'm saying? So I never opened the book further than Genesis. I would just break. It's like this big, right? So I only would break it out when I'm want to just kind of play with the big book to use as a big study guide or something with my smaller joint. So one day I flipped the thing open. I'm pretty sure everybody did it. We was like, fuck it. Let me just see what I'm gonna read in the Bible. They say it pertains to me. So I just flipped it open.
Yeah. And the crazy part is it almost always does. You flip it, you start in the middle of the page, you start at the bottom of the page, you say it almost always does. And my OG is like super devout Christian, super evangelistic, always, wants to pray for you, lay hands on you, oil the whole nine, you know what I mean? Super devout Christian, and I appreciate her for it. Hell, everybody needs prayer for it, you know what I mean? So I'll take the prayers, my kids will take them, you know what I mean? And that sounds super selfish, but it's always nice to have somebody that's praying for you. It sounds crazy, but it is always nice to have that. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not consistent in prayer for myself.
Well, don't worry about that because
I'm more of a law of attraction guy myself. You put things into the universe, you take the steps to manifest them. You do right by everybody involved with manifesting those things. You manifest in a fruitful manner. That's kind of how I do it. Like, I don't know anybody else's formula. That's kind of my formula.
Right. So, when I opened that book up, it landed in the middle part of the book where it was in the apocryphal books of the hidden books. Mm-hmm. Now, there's not many Bibles that keeps what we consider the missing books in the Holy Bible. Right. You just see New Testament, Old Testament, New Testament. So when I open it up, I see where there's a piece that had Jesus' name on there. And I'm like, what? Jesus? So I'm doing a double tap. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, that definitely say Jesus. So I'm sitting up and I'm like, what books are these? I'm seeing say the apocryphal and stuff. And the book that was on was it was talking about how it was the son of Sirach, to the son Jesus. And his grandfather's name was Jesus. Now this wasn't Jesus Christ. Right. This was just another name of Jesus. So I found different names in there, or different parts where there was a name of Jesus in the book. Now, when I read one of the books, where I actually read through the whole thing, it was the most powerful book of the Bible that I read. Well, I won't say it's the most powerful, but it's the most powerful one that shook my spirit, because this changed everything for me. This Jesus one that I read about, man, he was like a Malcolm X. He was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, he was a liberator. You see what I'm saying? And he gave his respect and his honor to females. Like, that was who he's like, man, the wisdom is the womb. The wisdom is through the woman, etc. So a lot of stuff that I believed in, and I felt where, was things he was talking about. Right. So I'm sitting up here and I'm like, damn. So when I read it in the scriptures, where it actually had the name Jesus spelled in the scripture, because I said people would never believe this because it's in the pre-introduction. I was like, somebody probably be like, oh, somebody wrote that out, the pre-introduction, blah, blah, blah. So then I found it in the scripture of the book. Now, you know what's in the scripture, man? You can't debut the scripture. The scripture somebody wrote, somebody wrote it, but it's in the scripture, period. So then at that point I said, okay, you got to think about this. If you was taught to read the Bible, Genesis to Revelation, and the only Jesus you know about is the one in the New Testament you ever known about your whole life, but you had this book, and you was taught to read between Genesis to Revelations, then you're going to read about some Jesuses before you come to Jesus in the New Testament. Right. So my whole point was that you're going to have a different thought about the name Jesus because you read about some Jesus before you got to the New Testament one. You see what I'm saying? And that is big. Because we've been talking about only one. And if this book is an 1836 book, bro, and we were still in slavery where we couldn't even read or whatever else.
It changed up on
Come on. And I'm telling you that these middle books, man, listen, these other Jesus, man, these niggas was like Malcolm X, bro. They wasn't no take away from the Jesus of Christ in Revelation or Martin Luther King. But I'm gonna put it like this.
We don't talk about the white Jesus.
Yeah. The one that done all the stuff that you really couldn't see, that you just gotta believe in. I'm telling you, these other Jesuses, you ain't have to believe in them. They show you what we about that smoke. That's what they was about in there. I'm just gonna be honest, that's what they was about. but they were smart.
Prez told me Jesus is white because he played favorites for so long.
Well, you're a white man. We was another Jesus before. See, I'm always white.
Yeah, so you know that's what the whole thing with
That's a nice story right there.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
So you know the other part that killed it was because I had to like speak upon my pops, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And some people was just middle grounded with it outside the elders. But they just, you know, I'm talking about my Jesus and this, I don't know, it's one Jesus and a lot. No matter if the proof is there.
You found something, you try to bring it to him.
You know, I don't want to see. No. That just show you like that's just like if you say like what you say your mom or your grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm sure she know one Jesus. If you tell her, grandma, you know about the other Jesus before the New Testament, on down there, get out of my house. But then if you show it to her, man, I'm talking about boy, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Here's the proof.
There's the proof. You didn't write it. I didn't write it. Clearly, there was this, and this ain't the only book. There was other books that I fact checked it with that had it in there.
They'll throw it away. They'll be like, let's say you just flipped this book into like, boom, grandma or whoever. I'm saying grandma, I'm just saying, but whoever, devout Christian, you slip this book somewhere and they're like, oh, okay, sis. Oh, Bible, okay, you know what I'm saying? So, she get to reading like she usually do, and then Jesus in Exodus, I don't know which one's fucking it, but
The book of Enoch.
he ain't supposed to be in this one right here. You know what I mean? This was before he was in there, you know what I mean? So this book is wrong. Yeah, throw that shit away.
Yeah, man. Come
I don't even want to read no more.
So you know, I came back when the book. I came back to my parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to get ready to leave, whatever else, and I'm looking for the book. The book's gone. I'm like, what? I'm like, where's the book at?
Damn.
I asked my mama and stuff like, man, you know, what happened to the book I had here earlier? And it should be up on the table where you left it, etc. And I'm like, nah, it's not up there.
Alien got it. My bad, go ahead.
So I'm calling my pops. And man, my pops, he took the book. Still to this day, I or nobody else I know why he took the book. And from that point, we departed. You know what I'm saying? But people got to understand the position I was in. I'm a person where people know my word. You see what I'm saying? My word is what is valued to me. Right. So after I already stepped out in what I guess you call the naked truth with expectations of revealing stuff. And then all of a sudden, because you got to think about it, like I had Israelite people in my inbox, I had all type of stuff. So now I can't look like a phony. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden I come back and tell you like, man, yeah, somebody took the book, I lost the book. That's gonna hit my credential.
No, okay.
You see what I'm saying? So I had no other choice but to speak the truth of what was what. Plus, that's how I felt that like if it's a book, if we got a book and we've been trying to figure this Jesus thing out, and our elders done died and everything. Oh, Jesus gonna come back and this, that, whatever, third. And I'm not taking nothing away from that. All I'm saying is, if you only got one piece of, if you got 50% of the knowledge. You go like 100% of the knowledge.
Why wouldn't you?
Should I not show it to you, or should I keep that to myself? Ken, you know what I'm saying?
So is that the difference between Masonic situations and what we would say is the Illuminati? And you feel what I'm saying? Like we were saying to him, you know what I mean? Like, because those situations.
Stumble upon a secret in the church.
Those situations obviously exist, and you could crush the entire, Judeo-Christian, everything with a book like that.
National treasure.
Amen. And you know what happened to me? Is exactly what the book described. Once running to the knowledge, what happened to them when they ran into the knowledge? You gotta go. Mm-hmm. Time for you to go now. You know what I'm saying?
That's why they blew JFK's top off. No, it sounds crazy, but he wanted to do away with the Federal Reserve.
Did you see the Mandela effect on that?
Yeah.
It was a limo. I remember with just 4 seats in it, but it had 6 people in it. 3 rows.
I don't remember that.
Look it up.
Gotta look a little closer. Huh?
Mandela effect. It's all fucked up.
I know the same bullet that took his top also hit Buddy in front of him 3 times. No, 4 times. Here, his hand was on his knee, hit his hand, hit his knee, and hit his foot.
He was trying to kiss that motherfucker.
His woman is on film trying to collect this gray matter off the back of that car. She's a real one. I'm gonna say that. Jackie O was a real one. He cheated and everything. She still tried to collect the gray matter.
No, it actually just started the first zombie apocalypse. They had to shoot JFK because he was turning into a zombie, and his wife was trying to eat the brain matter on the back of the car. I'm going around. It's about that time.
We really had a very informational episode, man. I learned a lot.
Stupid joke.
I had a good time, man.
Yeah.
Prayer shouts out to letting me rock out. Catch me this Saturday. We're going live again. We'll be at Bourbon Street. Free chicken and fries, man. Midwest Connects, man. Vinyl release party. GP2, Rome Page 2. We got Bo Gang True. We got Dirty to Don. We got Junior Prasare. We got Vision Glory. Man, it's really gonna be a dope show, man. Outside, we're gonna be outside. It's gonna be a patio type party situation. So pull up.
You got anything you want to plug for the league?
Man, really just like we got it's a lot of big things coming down the pipeline. You know, it's gonna be coming out sooner than later for sure. You know, keep your eyes and ears open. Be ready to, you know, be part of something historical. We definitely trying to drop a. I ain't gonna use that word. I was about to say drop a bomb, but the feds came and seen it. I use some language like that.
I ain't watching it yet.
Well, on my Facebook, you never know. That's what they came to see me about. You know, they got me under terrorism. You know, I'm gonna be coming for a lawsuit on the feds.
So now we're on the FBI watch list. Shout out FBI watch list.
But yeah, man, a lot of historical stuff coming down the pipeline that trying to put in effect for all of us here in the city. You know what I'm saying? And man, when I say historical, man, like historical nation. I think Springfield can really do something and pull off stuff that ain't never happened in the world yet. You know, we have a lot of opportunity more than what people think. So that's about what I say.
President fighting.
Oh yeah, I got a fight coming up. September 12th. It's a long way away. It's that same fight that kept getting rescheduled with the same dude.
Win or lose.
Yeah.
Get paid or don't.
I'm about to get paid. I've been on it, man. I worked out every day of COVID. Sometimes 3 times a day. Most of the time, twice a day. Definitely once every day. Training, working out, eating right, eating good. Staying positive.
It's a bold Starburst. He's awesome. He eating right, eating good.
I ain't none of that. And guess what? I can afford to eat that stuff. You know.
Yeah.
So, but
you got some time.
Yeah.
And you down to 170?
Yeah. And I dropped like 9 pounds last week. I got down to like 191. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And after the 4th of July, and then the leftovers on the 5th of July, I gained like 11 pounds. Yeah, so I was at 200 pounds the other day. I might have dropped up, but I've been working out again. I think that was just like bloatedness. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck that was, but I'm on my game, y'all. I'm definitely gonna get down to 170. And Come check me out at the gym. I got about 32 classes a week you can take. I got online sessions. I do private lessons, personal trainings, group sessions.
Green room.
Yeah, green room. If you need a green room for your videos, if you want to shoot your podcast, you know what I mean, holla at me. What else? I got something else. If you need a birthday party, we still rolling strong there. Pop-up party pals. Just did a couple of them this week. About to do one tomorrow also, because I missed one. So I made it up, you know what I mean? I made it up, you know what I mean? So it was a busy day that day, you know.
Which character you gonna be?
Blue Ranger.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So I will ask you to come.
I'm built more like a putty, my guy.
He gonna be gold guard. He can be gold guard. Put the whole suit on here. But well, come check me out at the gym. Shit, that's about it.
Great episode 51.
51, yeah.
Because we told y'all 49 was last week, but that was double 49, so it was really
I'll be high, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Next episode is our 1 year anniversary. Prez, what do we got planned for the special 1 year anniversary episode?
I was thinking, Springfield, guess who? See, y'all play that video, remember that old game, guess who? Pop it over, you got all the rolling people.
Are they wearing a hat?
Yeah.
Are they brown?
Do they got braids? Are they a white boy? You know what I'm saying? We're gonna use people who was on the show before. So we got Coon, Measy, you know what I mean, Zam,
Sarah, Sam, Tweez.
we're gonna have all the Zacks on there.
Y'all had Tweez on there?
Yeah, Tweez.
Tweez and Zam came together. Twice.
Yeah, sure have. And yeah, so I was thinking doing something like that. Definitely have a couple guests on to do that. Maybe definitely Coon, you know what I mean? Maybe Measy if he can make it, and or something like that. You know, some reoccurring guests. I don't know. We just gonna have a nice little time. It's always a party every week. This is what it is. Hey, shout out to AP Edwards.
Oh yeah,
he got some good products. And shit, that's it, man. We gotta get up out of here, man. Too.
Catch y'all next week, same time, same place.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cut the smoke.